Hello, Parvati. Hello, guys. Hello, Rin. Your birthday is on Monday, right, Rin? Is there someone you would like me to read for? To do a reading for? Any of your favorites? On your birthday? Ah, okay. I don't know why that message got cancelled and eliminated, Parvati, because actually it was really nice. So I don't know what's wrong with this, with YouTube. Because actually the message that you wrote was very, very nice. Yeah, that. So how are you guys? I'm on my period, so I'm feeling a bit like uncomfortable. You know when you feel just uncomfortable as an overall, like if you're seated, you feel uncomfortable. If you are standing, you feel uncomfortable. So you never know. A bit confused, happy, mad, sad, all at once. Oh, wow. Those are a lot of moods. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm going to do a reading for her actually on my channel. I believe I've never done a reading for her. I know you had asked me to pull cards for her, but I never done a reading for her. And I don't know if I done a proper reading to the group, to Luna. Maybe I have and I haven't I cannot remember right now. Uh, but I'm going to do a reading for her to see how she's doing. That I think that that's what mattered the most, for the fans. But yes, I don't know much about her, but I was sure that she was like a very important member because you did mention her a lot. So about her, I know. The rest of them, I don't know much. I have to follow the group more. Why we come back on December 9th? Yes, I saw the poster also. That actually a lot of people were upset because of the numbers of members in that poster. So, yeah. The nerve of that company to create fake scandal on too. Like, why would you do that to her? Business. Business, business. Don't remind me about Wavy. There's a big reason my mood has been all over. Oh, sorry to hear about the discomfort. I had a different relationship with my period, a time when we are undeniable in our power, a time we can walk between words. The rest of the girls came to know about you through SNS. Yeah, it's a low punch. But that's the industry, guys. That's the industry. That's um I think that it's the same as any job, like I think that when you serve them, when you are good to them, they are very nice with you. But all of a sudden, if you start to define them, or if you start to be different, or you do something that they do not approve, they just start like doing these things that are aggressions, that are aggressive. Excited for such time. Onus and Mino's birthdays, Mino's first album. Yeah. And have you heard about this guy that he got 13 years of prison because of what he did? This former idol. I don't know if you would call him a former idol. Maybe in his country he was still an idol. I don't know. Yeah. Whenever you guys ask me, I remember you guys used to ask me who was like the idol who was someone that I didn't want to read for, or that when I read for them, I was very it wasn't a good experience. I think that for me it was him. For me it was Chris, yes. I don't know. I feel like I remember when I don't know if my reading is still up there. Because I've done so many. But I remember that in the comment section, a lot of people would ask me to read for him all over, to do the reading all over, to do an update, and I believe that they were probably his fans or people that support him. And I swear, I think it's the first reading that I was going to refuse, that I was going to say no, I'm not going to read for this person. And it's not personal to the fans, nor, I think that there was a strong energy coming from him that I didn't even know how to, because it wasn't that bad as I was like reading the cards. What was bad was afterwards. I felt really bad, really heavy, and I felt like his energy was really heavy. That actually what I was seeing in the cards were just a small glimpse of his energy as a whole. Um, and I remember that one of the cards that I pulled was a sexual one. I mean, I never got that card. I actually forgot that it was part of the deck. And he got it. He got that. I think it was an oracle, and he got that card. That it referred to the sexuality, and I don't know. I think that it's not so much about the message that maybe I got from that reading. It was more about how that made me feel. Like I I cannot express it into words how draining, and how I was feeling like I was getting into a very dark energy that I wasn't supposed to be reading that. So, and I know that the accusations are a very serious reason maybe why, but I think that probably he has other sides, other aspects of him that are more dangerous, or that I don't know. I think that sometimes when I get very uncomfortable with someone's energy is because maybe that person is also into, I don't know, spiritual things. So maybe if someone has, I don't know, like a spell done to them, or they had done some witchcraft, or some witchcraft has been done to that person, I actually start feeling it in me, and that's where the uncomfortableness come from. So I knew that it was something about him specifically, like not so much about the subject, like I mentioned, it's not to say that the accusations and everything that was going on around him wasn't like um serious enough. But what I got from the experience of reading for him, it was that I should stop, because there was other energies manipulating that I just felt awful. I was like, when you get burned and you are like, I'll never touch that again, like that, a bit like traumatic. And I never had that happen with other idols, but with him the energy was heavy. um but I just I I couldn't say that. Like and I think that the fans also were very overprotective of him. Uh, and I just couldn't be like, oh, I just don't like his energy. It's him, is his energy, and the other guy that still has a lot of fun claiming that he's innocent, but he is not innocent for me. In a sense that that's another idol that got into trouble, and that I think that what I got from that reading is a touch of a glimpse of their own energy. It's not so much about what the cards have to say about the subject. I think that what when I there are, this happened to me with these two people, these two former idols, that like I wasn't a fan, like nor like I did enjoy their work back then. It's not that I have something against them, but when I read for them, I felt like a very of the other guy that also is no longer in the industry. I felt a very strong energy of he is a liar, a pathological one. He is a liar. He will always be a liar and a cheater. He will always be, because it's like it's part of who he has this almost this compulsive need to deny everything and also cover it with lies. So, High Spirit. No, I was talking about the very creepy experience that I had when I did a reading about Chris Wu, and now I was talking about the other idol that I refuse to read forever. The other idol that is no longer in the industry because of his doings, but there are fans that still claim that he's innocent, and that's what I think, that when I read for him, and yes, we are in Sagittarius season, and he is a Sagittarius. But I think that when I pulled cards for him, I got that very strong intuition of he's a pathological liar. He's a compulsive liar. He will never stop disappointing people. And that even if he comes back, or if he is given a second chance, he will betray people's trust, because it's in his nature. It seems like he has this sort of like itch, this sort of need inside of him of making things up, confusing people, playing with people. Like it's part of his nature. But that's why his fans and until this day defend him, because he's really good at showing them what they want to see. Um, but I don't know. The cards didn't lie about that. Yeah, I'm talking about him, Spirit. Mm. Yeah, that's the other guy that I think that he will never recover. And it's not about being famous. I think that if he is an everyday person, he will have these tendencies in his life as a um, because he is like this. Somehow he's I don't think he has regrets about these things. He regrets getting caught, but he's really good at, distracting people with his character. He has a lot of charisma, so he is very manipulative in that sense. He shows people what they want of him. So I think that those people are very, um yes, they're good entertainers because somehow like the spotlight fits perfectly for them, and there's energy shape shifting. There's a lot of fake people in the industry, and the people that are not, sometimes they have to learn to be a bit fake to protect themselves. But I think that for him it's something that he will never stop. Like he mess things up. I don't know why. And he doesn't realize that he had done it. It's something very. It's like a disease. It's like a compulsive behavior that he cannot get rid of. He's like a child. He needs to stay always like creating drama, creating, because it's fun for him. But I think that when it affects others, it's no longer fun. Mm. The members even said that he isn't close to them and he made other friends. All that trouble was before him, so they didn't pitch, which was, the members knew he was doing, but didn't say a word for their career, of course. A psychic reader said that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the feeling I got, spirit. That's the feeling that I got, that this is something that everyone knows about him. It's not that you're like, oh my god, like I cannot believe this. No, actually he had always been like in the open like this. It's just that maybe he's a bit of a prankster. He probably makes a lot of jokes. He used a lot of humor, and and playing around, so people were like, oh, because he's young, and because fame, he's very, I don't know, he's very hyperactive, and but actually no, he's a grown man. It's just that, um he thought he would never get caught. Actually, I think that probably if he did get caught, I don't know how he got caught, but there's something about him not being able to keep his mouth shut. So I think that eventually he was going to mess up, because he was going to like give himself away, like because he's not someone that he keeps things to himself. He shares with everyone, and that's, I think that that's one of the keys of being in this industry, is for you to have real friends, but real friends, like few but real, and actually like, uh, you know just hang out with your real friends. And if you want to talk about what you're going through, just do it with your close circle, because I think that this is why when people love to see two idols hang out together, because I don't know, probably they're the same age, the same nationality, the same birthday, I don't know, they just cannot wait to see these people like interact. And actually I think that that's a bit of, I don't know if that's a good decision, because actually other idols can also be gossipy. They do talk among each other for the good, it can be for the better, and then there are others that can be very gossipy, and you never know. You can be like, oh, but yes, they understand me, we are going through the same, but they can be gossipy. There are a lot of idols that I do get the vibe that they are very gossipy, that they are very gossipy. It's just that probably they look very innocent, and you are like, oh, like they are just communicative, and no, they are very gossipy. They are the chaos creators, because somehow they get into trouble for speaking too much, and I think that it's okay to be communicative. Like, I think that it's a great tool to be expressive, but when you talk too much about other people's business, that's where, you have to control yourself a bit, because what goes around comes around. So if you start gossiping about others, then if something happens to you, like, don't be amazed if people are going to be talking about you too. So that's why, um you know to gossip is tempting. There you will always have, like, people coming and tell you stuff, but it's on you about what you want to do with that information. um Municipal, nobody will go against the high profile politicians and businessmen behind. What's the lowest hanging fruit? Yes, that's exactly how all the bones got caught. They just can't keep a secret. Yeah, yeah. Actually, even the member from Cara helped in this investigation. Too many snakes also point from inside. Be happy with the money you have. Greed gets you in a bad company. Yeah. 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 That's, I definitely agree with you guys. Like, that's when I read for him, like, I don't know about, him being, I didn't get cards about him being guilty of something more serious, for example, in the case of Chris Wu. But I think that there was something very, very weird about Sungri's energy, Sungri's way of dealing with this, because I didn't think that he was feeling guilty about this. I think that he was just being himself, surrounded by all these other people that, of course, we agree that these are very powerful people, and he's just a pawn, of course. But I think that is his. I don't know, now that we are in Sagittarius season. There's this there's something about Sagittarius. Not all Sagittarius, but I noticed this especially about Sagittarius men, that they have this very. It's not innocent, because I wouldn't say it's innocent. But they have this very optimistic view about everyone that they associate themselves with. Like, I wouldn't even say that they are friends. The people that they hang out with, you know, if they're having fun, and if you and they feel like, okay, like, we're having fun, like, this is great, this is fun, like, yeah, like, everything goes, and like, oh, I did. And did you suspect that something else was going on? No, I didn't, because I was so entertained, I was having fun, I was being myself. I don't go that deep, so I think that that's that's something that probably Sagittarius males, they tend to get into trouble when they are young, because they have this, like, this feeling of, like, oh, everyone is a friend, oh, everyone, because we're having fun, because we are, like, partying here. So, he is a bit like, okay, let's have fun, like, let's not go that deep, let's not get caught up into thinking the worst of people. Let's be optimistic, let's keep the spirit up. So somehow this level of it's not magical thinking, because I believe that Sagittarius are the most intelligent people in the zodiac, but there's a bit of deluluness in their perception sometimes, especially when they go back and forth with their opinions about what's going on. I think that in the case probably of Songri, if you ask him, he was just having fun and being social, and he wasn't paying attention to the elephant in the room. So I think that those, and I believe that he had a moon in Gemini or a moon in Libra, something like that, that it also add a bit more to his um perception of being always like very, like, looking for gratification, and having fun, and like not going that deep, not being very observant of the people around you, and feeling like, oh, let's have fun, and yes, he probably doesn't think he's guilty, so no remorse there. Certainly was one of the nicer poems in both. His choices were a bit less wild. He was probably happy he was rolling in money, blinded by the riches. Wow, I'll have to look up what they did after the chat. He was just enjoying, he probably doesn't realize. He did seem like a people pleaser. Yeah, he thought because he was wearing also, Apparently, a woman who is involved in this fiasco is also responsible for that voice over flower actress too. There are a lot of articles about this scandal. I myself am like a people scanner myself. It's just that I think that probably he was the easiest to catch, because when people are so optimistic, or when people are just so excited to to be involved, I think that they definitely picked him because of something, there was something about his behavior that they would be like, oh, he's going to be okay, like, like, and like I mentioned, it's not to say that he is not intelligent. I believe he's a very intelligent guy, but probably he was a bit blinded by a lot of things. So, that's why I think that um I actually did meet a lot of. I had my uncle, my dad's brother, that he even went to jail also, to because of he was in the police, and and I don't know, he got caught doing something. I mean, I don't know if he was stealing or stealing something, some money from the police apartment. I don't know, or getting like I don't know, collecting money. I don't know. He I believe he got like 5 years, like, and after that he became really like, after he got out of jail, he became really religious all of a sudden, because all those 5 years he spent it reading a lot of books, and he even read a lot of law books, so he also got into politics. He actually is not very well mentally, but I think that, this is something about the Sagittarius people that I met, especially my family, that I noticed that they are not very stable mentally. They are not very stable mentally. It seems like they cannot recover from deception, from, I wouldn't say they are naive, but when they are young, if they don't pay attention to how influenced they are, they can make very poor decisions for themselves and actually get caught into a lot of unfortunate events, and since Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, there's also this level of luck. So you can actually, if you go through something traumatic, you can actually be lucky in some aspect and probably get away with something or be granted a new opportunity. But I think that there needs to be like a change of mindset. You have to change. And actually, they do a very drastic change. For example, I don't know, from being someone that parties all day and goes to clubs every day, then they become like a nun or a priest or something like that. They have this very like, like existential crisis where they just quit or they give up everything that they believed in at first. And then when this incident happens, they just change, they transform, and they are no longer that person. Um, so I think that that's something very, very interesting about Sagittarius, is that if they look like they are crazy, is because they question their beliefs all the time. They question when no one questions anything. Sagittarius will make you question even your existence. Like, what do you believe in? I mean, in my case, you know that I have Jupiter in my first house. I'm a Capricorn, but I have a very strong Jupiter in my first house. I have it conjunction my Sun, so in the first house. So basically, I'm like a Sagittarius rising, and I think that for me, Jupiter Jupiter influence in my personality. Even though I have a lot of Scorpio, so Scorpio does go through transformation, but I think that as I grew older, I realized that it's not that I changed religions, because I don't change religions. It's just that I'm always willing to learn something more. I like to learn. I like to learn new things. I like to learn from different people, from different races, from different cultures. I like to hang out with people that are different from me. That I always notice, I like to learn new languages. That I always notice that in my circle, my family, my friends, they were never curious nor interested into learning about other cultures. And in my case, since I was really young, I had always had like a book in my hand, always wanting to learn. Well, that's why I got into tarot, then I got into astrology, then I got into numerology, then I got into, I don't know, I even learned how to read the runes, the Celtic runes. I had always been like always looking for knowledge. And while I was doing that, I also did it with counseling. Um, I was able to be like, okay, knowledge is welcome. It's not that, oh, I finished this course or I finished this and I know everything. No, I'm always like willing to challenge what I know. And I'm always willing to be a very humble, like, apprentice. I think that my thing, my motto, the phrase that describes the way I think is that I'm like a forever uh, apprentice. I consider myself a forever apprentice. I don't consider myself a master of things or like, oh, I know about this or that. No, I'm always learning. I'm always learning. So, yes, now in this instance of my life, I know this. But maybe 2 weeks from now, I'm going to learn about something new, and probably my beliefs are going to change. Like, my point of view is going to, it's not about changing, like losing a belief and just get rid of the oldest belief. It's about broadening. It's about, this is why Sagittarius and Jupiter, it's all about expansion. It's about you expanding what you think you know. It's about making room for new knowledge. Like, the knowledge is not going to, like keep like a space in your head. So it's going to fill your brain, so you will not be able to absorb more. You have actually, you can expand, you can learn more. Hey, Fluffy. My mom told me this: fear God and be good. I assure her I can be a good person without fearing God. Yes, yes, I believe that too. I believe that too, Spirit. I was raised a Catholic, so I know exactly what you mean. That about fearing God. And it's like, I don't fear God because I know I'm a good person. I don't need a religion to always be with the pointing fingers like, oh, you're going to get this. No, because I know deep inside my heart, I know that I'm doing good, and I'm trying to be very coherent between my desires and how I want to achieve things, and not trying to get into other people's life or businesses, just doing me, and not like, trying to look at what others are doing, and imitating what others are doing. No, I always do me. I always focus on me and what I can do better. Um, but yeah, an enlightened Sagittarius would be such a great partner. Yeah, I think that Sagittarius as partners uh, are a bit tricky because just like they sometimes get rid of old dogmas or old perceptions or old traditions. They can one day wake up and be like, okay, like, I'm starting a new life and you are not on it. You are not in it. You are not in this new, I'm going, I don't know, to travel around the world, and you are not coming with me. And I think that that's something that, I don't know, my earth sign nature, I think I would be devastated if someone said that to me. But I don't know, I always attracted Sagittarius men also, so I definitely admire them a lot. But yeah, there's a feeling with them about that they're just passing by, through life, that you are not meant to, that they are not meant to settle down. Actually, there are some that do settle down, but Jupiter is a great influence, not gonna lie. Knowledge and luck. Yes. Yes. I love Jupiter. I was thinking about getting a tattoo of Jupiter. I have Jupiter in Capricorn, so yeah. They're just amazing. I love them. I love them definitely. I think that they are um first of all, they are very handsome. They are very handsome people, and they have this attitude that it's so catchy, that is so contagious, and they are so full of knowledge. So I would get like fascinated with them, just listening to them, just listening to what they have to say. But then eventually, like, after, if you pay close attention, you realize that they are a bit like on the, they tend to have this weird philosophy that you are like, okay, yeah, I get why you believe in, but we need to also be grounded a bit. Depends on their moon and Venus too. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Yes, they do know. They do know. And they definitely know a lot of people as well. They know a lot of people. They are very friendly. They are the kind of people that you will have like they can adapt to any situation. Like, mm, yes, he does. Yeah. Yes, a couple. And Onu, I think he has like a water moon, a Cancer moon. Oh yes, Channel 2. Yeah, they do look intimidating. They do have that. I think that what I noticed about Capricorn moon is that you can see it in their eyes. You definitely can see that they are uh, Saturn influence because they have very strong eyes, very dark eyes, very like very penetrating eyes. They look very serious. Even when they are laughing, they look really serious. If you pay attention to them, they look like as if they are older. And they have this leader vibe, that even they can be goofy and everything, but you know that they are in control. Um, and then they are very efficient actually about what they do. They are very very efficient, very um it seems that they are these people that they are always ready to work or to go to work. You know, they can be goofy, they can be very Sagittarius, but at the same time, they don't forget their role or their job. So I think that for Sagittarius moon, for example, everyone that had been talking about the enlistment and the idols to um, going to um, the military service and everything. I think that for a Capricorn moon, it would be like not only they would feel it inside their hearts that is their duty, that literally there's no big deal, like I have to do it, but they would also like feel very comfortable, with you doing this very like structured kind of life. Um, oh, one is enlisted in December 2nd, I think. Yeah, I think that it depends. There are a lot of people that just have that, and I think that if you are a Capricorn moon, you probably, I wouldn't say you are going to enjoy it, but you are going to be very like focused on, okay, this is my duty. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm here. Like, oh, grounding a challenge I worked on my whole life. I'm from a family without a north sign with a Gemini moon. Gemini mom, a Leo dad, and 6 kids. So hard to fire towards. I'm a double Sag Gemini moon. Yeah, but maybe there's a teaching in there. Maybe there's a teaching in there. Um, there's a teaching in there. Hope, definitely there's a teaching in there. Actually, I have no fire, um no air in my chart, but definitely what I took influence from is from the aspects. For example, I have I don't know, Venus and Mars are in Pisces, but I have them on the third house, that is the house of Gemini. So that's where I connect with my love for communication, from learning new things, from reading a lot, from always being a sort of a nerd. And that's for me. Also, I have a midheaven in Libra, so I try to grab from my birth chart. I try to grab as much influence as I can, and then I don't have any, except for Neptune in Sagittarius. I don't have any placements in fire, but I do have the sun in the first house. So the first house is the house of Aries, the house of personality. So if I have my Capricorn sun in the first house, it means that there's something about the exposure and the fire and the initiative of the Aries energy, of the Aries house, that is about, okay, you have an earth sign, you have an earth sun, but we are going to put it in the first place, so it's going to be influenced by Aries. And my dad is an Aries, my best friends are Aries, my cousins are Aries. So somehow, life puts around you a lot of energies that probably you are lacking, and also that you can learn from. Not necessarily you have it yourself, but you can integrate it yourself, and you can also learn from them. For example, if you do not have earth people around you, or earth family, but you have a friend, a coworker, someone that is an earth sign. I don't know, you have me, for example. You can observe us and actually learn from us, and you can like copy a certain things, or actually, I don't know, if it's a way of thinking or a mindset. You will be like, oh, she said this, so maybe I should practice more on this. Um and you can integrate it yourself. Like, this is why I think that your birth chart, it's a great way to know the energies that you deal with, that you have, that it is sort of like a manual that you came with, but it's not that you will always be stuck with those energies and that they will represent you throughout all your life. No, you can actually change and transform it and be like, oh, today I'm going to use this part of my chart, or in my life, in my work life, I'm going to use this side. um because that's how I use it. I don't There are some aspects of me that, since we are always talking here, that I always mention my Capricorn sun, that I always tell you guys that I don't feel like a Capricorn, and I am a sun and rising in Capricorn, and I, comparing to other Capricorns, I don't feel much Capricorn. And what I do feel very connected is with my moon in Scorpio. That I do feel like a resonance, but that's because I have my south node in Scorpio, so probably my past life I was a Scorpio as well. So there's this, like, that energy. I know it. I know how it is. I know how it works. But with Capricorn, it's a bit like, for me, it's like, yeah, I'm being told that I'm a Capricorn, but watching other Capricorns perform, I don't feel that Capricorn actually. I don't feel I can look like one, but when it comes to the way I behave or the way I present myself, I think I'm a bit much more positive, and a bit more like, I'm not irresponsible, because I actually, like, I do follow my responsibilities. I'm actually a bit like, you know, um obsessive about getting things done and stuff. But I don't feel like I do care a lot about people. Probably this is because I have, Venus and Mars in Pisces. So I'm a softie in the sense that I do care a lot about people. So I like to help people. I like to help and influence someone in a positive way, so they can be better. This is why I am a counselor. This is why I am a mediator. This is why, I always, like, how can I say this? I always enable this about, okay, let's work together. So, and I didn't see any like Capricorn actually do that for others. Actually, I met a lot of Capricorn moons in my life, and I was shocked by how detached they are and how I admire them because they work non-stop and they have very strong and very structured ideas of what they want to accomplish, and you better not get in their way unless you want to help them. Like, it is like, okay, I'm working here. Don't interrupt me. But talking about feelings, talking about like how can we cooperate with others, they don't know cooperation. They don't know, they know themselves, that they know their, and I'm in that sense, I'm a bit of a softie. I'm a bit of more like, oh, okay, I would like to make that the group gets along better so we can have better results. I always think about the others. I try to, I like other people to make them participate a bit more. I like to talk to the to the undergrounds of the under to the, I don't know, underdogs of the group. I like to talk to those people, to the introverts of the group. I like to get to know these people. So I'm always like, trying to like make it happen. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly, Fluffy. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you, Hope. Hey, Samara. Yes, and but that's why I think that sometimes to be like, okay, I have this energy, I am this sun. I think that it would be really like really nice to talk about how you have certain placements and you don't feel like those placements represent you. You don't feel like those placements represent you. Like it had happened to me actually. Like I was like, why was I born a Capricorn? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Of course that there are some things that I do feel like, okay, they do represent me, but I yeah, yeah, there are some things that I'm like, oh, maybe I got a sun in Capricorn and a rising in Capricorn, so I can learn to be more Capricorn. Because somehow it seems that no matter how many planets I have in Capricorn, I still don't see myself as a Capricorn. I think I'm still stuck in the Sagittarius season. Like, even though my decanate, the day that I was born, is not close to Capricorn. But I do believe that Sagittarius season, it's very, had influenced me a lot, actually, because I do, even though my the way I arrived to this world had been really traumatic because I almost died. My mom almost died. Um, it was very traumatic, very Scorpio. At the same time, um, I'm excited to be here. Just because all the trouble, all how hard it was for me to get here, to be alive. So, but I'm excited to be here, to look at people, to meet people, to see, oh, hello, I'm here. Like I don't know how can I say this. I have I have faith that somehow if I didn't die and I'm here, it's because I have a reason. So, since we're talking about Sagittarius and being positive and being optimistic, I can say that even though it was really hard for me to be here, I'm really excited to be here. And I know that yes, the world is full of um darkness and yes, we but we are here, guys. So it's not about being nor philosophical, nor religious, nor anything. You can believe in anything you want. But I'm like, I always wonder, ever since I was really young, like, why am I here? Like, why did I have the luck, the privilege to be born like this? And to also sense other energies. Like, I think that when you are so sensitive, there's a meaning in that as well. Like, okay, what are you going to do with what you know? Are you going to help people? Are you going to keep it to yourself? Are you going to use it for yourself? um you have to find a purpose, and I think that this is also very, very Capricorn, to be able to, okay, you have gifts, you are talented, or you are gifted, but okay, what are you going to do with those gifts? So I don't know. mm. Oh yes, the Vedic astrology, it's very. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Stephen Arosho one was really good. I have books, Spirit, but they are in Spanish. They are Spanish authors. Oh, mm, yeah. My eyes, I can even see the lines. Me too. Me too. Me too. Yeah, I think that is about that, guys. I think that you know, we're always learning. We're always learning. We're always thinking like, yeah, 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 Fluffy. I notice. I notice about the Capricorn moons. I definitely feel a bit sorry for them. I mean, not in a bad way, because actually I do admire them, because they are very. They do make things happen. They are great leaders. But in this world, for you to be a leader, also you have to also be good with people, because we don't want a boss. We have those already. We want someone that can have like an extra flavor, to it, that is like, yes, we admire you because you are resilient, because you are hardworking, but how do you make the others feel? Do they feel intimidated by you? Do they see you as a threat? Do they see you as someone that you cannot approach them? I had very good conversations with with Capricorn moons, in the sense of like work related things. That's how I connect with them. Start to ask them about activities and stuff, and they start to, oh yes, I have to do this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, great, I'm going to work with you. But at the same time, it's like I'm looking for a connection there, and for them it's like I don't know. They almost make you feel like you are like somehow wasting their time, And me as a Capricorn, I swear, I never felt so like, like I'm comfortable by Capricorn energy, and I guess that's when um when people just met me, they said that I look intimidating, especially when I haven't talked to them, or they just saw me like, first glance. Maybe that's the Capricorn energy, but actually I'm very nice. It's just that I have no tolerance for bullshit. So if you are too like too bright for Oli, I will not pay attention. Like, I will, yes, engage in a conversation, but that's it. Uh, but I if you're genuine and if you are spontaneous, I will definitely get along in chat. but I'm working on it. That's why I love to be around silent. Yeah, me too. I need the hand on my face to see the lines, but I will learn at least to an average level. I'm like the opposite. I like being with serious people. There's a difference between serious and boring. Yeah, yeah. But yes, I had always been an old soul. I had always had like these very strong opinions, so serious people make me extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, I can imagine Rim. I can imagine Rim. Yeah. Look, I don't know if this is very Capricorn of me, but I remember I used to go to this um, kindergarten. Um, that actually I don't know if it was like a proper kindergarten. I think that it was more like a daycare, like um, but they would teach us things, and I think that I was like 4 years old, and I would go there and I would be with other children and play. But I remember that in this place, the owner and our teacher, she had her grandma, or I don't know if it was her mother. I believe it was her grandma, that she lived like like outside the patio, the playground. She would be living in a tiny house, like in on like um uh, in the back garden. And I would always go and visit her. I would always go, and I remember that she used to sit on this like a chair, and I would always go and sit on her lap, and I would always go and talk to her, and being very affectionate with her. And this was a very old lady, and I was like very affectionate with her, and she would always tell my mom, oh, your child, she always comes and is so loving to me, and it's so like she's like my daughter, because she's always so loving towards me. So I think that I had always loved old people, like, and this is something that probably with I remember I had my dad's mom, my grandma, that she lived with us, but my grandma, she was a Scorpio. She was like she had a very tough life, so she was a bit intimidating and not affectionate at all. So I never had that, that loving relationship with my grandma, even though I know that she was my grandma and we lived together. I never had like a loving relationship with her, because I think that she preferred the the the, the boys in my family, my cousins that were boys. So since I was a girl, I don't think she was with them. She was affectionate, but with me she was not. So, but with other people's, like with other old people, I would be really affectionate. So I guess I was craving for, and my mom wasn't very affectionate as well. So I guess that if I showed very loving, affectionate towards that stranger, it's probably because I wanted, to have a sort of grandma, or an adult that would be really sweet to me, like it would be very loving as well, probably because she was loving to me as well, and I would see her like this fragile old lady. So she would I would feel, tenderness towards her. And I think that with my, probably in my household, that there was a lot of Scorpio energy, like I didn't feel like that, um that it was okay for me to be affectionate and to be sweet and to be, I think that there's something that I always felt like living with Scorpio females, that they were so guarded and sometimes they were so distrustful that if you were like loving towards them, they would be like, okay, what do you want? So I think that I never had that possibility to be affectionate, you know. Yes, yes, Parvati. Mm, mm. Yes, I felt, I guess that's my experience, and and as I grew older, um, they would always tell me like, oh, you are not affectionate with us. You are always like serious. You don't want to be with us, and they would mirror my attitude towards them, but they wouldn't be able to see that they were the ones that taught me to be that way. Because somehow children do reflect and do act accordingly to what they see in their homes. And I think that if I was so closed off or not so into PDA, it's because I wasn't in an environment that would allow me to be, my sweet self or my loving self or my even to show my need to to be affectionate. And I think that that's also something that I learned a lot in my relationships. In my personal relationships, I was always the one that I would be very like cold and detached, but then because I always got partners that were really sweet and affectionate, so with them I learned to also like embrace that part of me, that I'm actually a very loving person, and that I actually like I do want to be affectionate. It's just that the way that I was in my upbringing, in my household, there was no affection. So there was a lot of loyalty, a lot of, oh, you are part of this house, or you are part of, there was like a lot of like blinded loyalty, very Scorpio like, but not in the sense of I'm going to show you how I feel. Everything was very hidden, very secretive. You had to guess um how everyone was feeling, you know. I tend to love all people and non-animal places, things, ideas. I say all, but even what doesn't resonate with me, I tend to respect, understand, or can empathize with. Yeah, that's interesting. On my dad's side, his sister almost all have a Scorpio moon like him, and as kids, he didn't really express affection either. Now that they are older, they grow much closer. Mm. Yes, I also learned to be affectionate with time, because I think that probably there since I was always raised by this Scorpio nature, this Scorpio females that would always like be hiding something, like, and me as a Scorpio moon, I would always feel like there's something hidden in here. So for me to trust someone, it takes a while. Or actually, if you are still part of my life after many years, then eventually I start to like relax a bit and I start to trust you. But yes, I have to go through a lot of years, a lot of like, I'm very distrustful, but I don't think I am distrustful because I am that way. I think that is because of my environment. So this is something that I think that when I read about Scorpio moons or Scorpio placements, like I always tell you, I don't always feel like that serious side of Capricorn, nor that tragic side or like that extreme side of Scorpio. I actually am very positive sometimes. And I'm like, okay, I have the power to transform myself. Like I do have strong emotions, but I try to make something out of them. But I think that I never was a negative person. Never, never. I think that I was raised in an environment and in an energy where, as a child, I was taught to be in permanent alert. Somehow like learning to be suspicious just because of the energy of the adults that I was raised by. So I think that I always noticed that I don't think that I had always been this like mysterious and distrustful person. I think that it's the surroundings that actually led me to feel like I had to read a room, or the need to always know ahead, like what's going on here, because of the people that I grew up with. A lot of secrecy, a lot of like envy, a lot of very strong emotions that were really hidden. Yeah, I don't know if my mic is working actually because it's really weird, but I'm using it anyways. And my dad's side of the family is a bit clan-like, very tight bond and lots of secrets, just like you described. It took me 2 years to actually consider the classmates I hang out with as friends. We've been together 10 years now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just that for me, since I only got to experience the Scorpio female side, I definitely got to see the very sad side of of the Scorpio energy. The distressful side, because my grandmother was she was married to my grandpa. He was a Gemini, so uh, he wasn't interested in being a parent. He was always traveling elsewhere. He would cheat on her. So she had to run the family. She had 6 children with him, so she had to somehow like be the masculine role, and to use that willpower and determination to keep the family together. So she became very masculine herself and very determined, very stubborn, very Taurus like almost, even though she was a Scorpio. And with my mom was really suffering because she was like the youngest of her family, but she had a discapacity. I don't know how you call it in English, but it's like uh she would limp with her left leg, and then she also had an accident, that she broke some bones in the same leg, so she would limp to walk. She would use like a crutch to walk. So um that wound, that physical like inability to walk well, had always like harmed her somehow, and also took away her possibilities to maybe do what she wanted to do. And from what she told me, it's like she married my dad, so she left her her family's home, and then she entered my dad's house, my dad's family. So she left her family to go to live with his family, because my grandma and some of his sisters would live in the household with her. As a newlywed, she had to live with other people, and my dad would always be working. So I think that for her there was no intimacy, you know, that for Scorpio is very important to have intimacy, actually, you know. So for her, she would always be manipulated also by my grandma, because my grandma was like, okay, you married my son, but you know, I'm the one in charge here. So, and my mom also not having families nor friends, she would be like, okay, I have to do what she says because I live under the roof. And she, because of her discapacity, she didn't get a job, she couldn't get a job, she couldn't leave the house, you know. So it was a very sad. I think that what she told me is that actually having me was probably like the happiest time in her life, the happiest she has ever been, because she wasn't happy. That's what she told me. um so I think that me as a female, I learned a lot about that, you know, about, okay, what is happiness, happiness to you, you know. Like, are you being loyal to yourself, or are you preserving loyalty to others that are somehow tightening you to them, and you cannot develop your full, you can not expand, you know, now that we are talking about Sagittarius season, you cannot expand your potential because you are tied to other loyalties. But then no one is loyal to you. You know, you are giving loyalty to your family, to a situation, you are supporting a situation, you are supporting an stability, you are supporting something that you know, but you are somehow being prisoner of that situation, of that family, of that dynamic, you know. So there's a lot of things that we have to take into consideration as females, um, that it's okay to look at your parents or look at your family and being like, I honor my upbringing, I honor the teachings, I honor the lessons, I honor the women in my family, I honor their suffering as well, but I'm going to do something different with my life because I don't want to repeat the same cycle. Yeah. Yes, I definitely think so, Fluffy. I think the moon actually sometimes describes even more accurately our upbringing than our emotions. Exactly, Fluffy. Fluffy, I agree totally with you. Because, you know, once I was talking to an astrologer and he was telling me about my chart, and he was like, because, you know, I have my North Node in in Taurus. So he was like, you have to get out of the Scorpio influence. Like, in a sense that, yes, you have Pluto in the 10th house, you have the Pluto conjunction your moon in the 10th house. So your moon and your Pluto is a big energy. Pluto in Scorpio is a big energy for you in the 10th house. So, you know, it's an energy that's going to come out to somehow show you something. But, you know, don't hold on too tight to your moon, because this is something that you went through already. Like, you're supposed to experience your moon sign, you know, in the first years of your life, but then eventually you have to integrate the other, you know, your sun, you have to integrate your Venus, your Mars, you know. There's plenty of energy. Don't just hold on to, and you know, and I think that in my case it's even more. I had held on so tight to it because I had been surrounded by a Scorpio. My mom was a Scorpio, so I had a very close bond with her, very close bond with her. So somehow her suffering got imprinted in me very, very strongly. so so, you know, after she died, it was like a huge, like, okay, like, you know, like, I felt so bad for her, and I miss her a lot. But in the sense, I have to honor her energy and somehow learn from her suffering, and being like, okay, if she suffered because she wasn't able to put into words how she felt about her situation, or how she felt about certain things in her life, I have to be able to put into words, like what's going on with me, and not repeat the same pattern. I've been told I'm too trusting, but I told myself to be discerning. I listen to the words, but also pay attention to the actions now. Wisdom over time. Yeah. I have a source of suspicious natures and possessive natures in friends with similar placements. Yeah, it's just that I noticed that, I don't know, maybe Hope, I don't know if you are from the same year that I was born in the 80s, that we are ruled by Pluto and Scorpio. We are Pluto and Scorpio generation. So we tend to bring a lot of intensity. Like our generation is very intense. And I used to have like my classmates, like my cousins, the people of my same age, we have a lot of uh, dark energy, dark, intense emotions, intense relationships, intense, dramatic life experiences. We are always like trauma bounding somehow, like. Mm, yes, Hope. And the Venus and Scorpion known are loyal and love deeply. They just want someone who is going to understand this. Also, you have your moon conjunct the south node. It's supposed to be a highly intuitive placement. No wonder you're such a natural reader. Yeah, I have it also. Yes, I have my moon and north node in Cancer. I definitely felt more Capricorn in my early years, but honestly, it works for me as of now. Yes, spirit. It's just that the moon, it's a very beautiful moon in Cancer. It's a very beautiful placement, because the moon feels really comfortable in Cancer. But obviously, there's a lot of Cancer for you to learn. So if you meet Cancer people, you have to learn from them, from their perspective, because you can polarize towards the opposite, towards Capricorn, because you have like a very strong north node in there, so you will feel attracted to Capricorn, because Capricorn, it's also is very stable, it's very grounded. So Capricorn energies, they tend to feel to feel like, oh, I have to be like them, because I'm too sensitive, and Capricorn seems to have everything to pull together. But actually, don't forget about that, your own placement, because that placement, especially because it's in the north node, so it means that if you have your south node in Capricorn, it means that you already had been a Capricorn, or you already had lived the Capricorn experience. So you will feel tempted, just like I'm always tempted, to go back to what I know, that it's my south node in Scorpio. So in your case, you will feel tempted to go back to Capricorn ways, but it's the north, is the north node, the one that has the energies. Mm, yeah, I have to remind myself, like, that I have to be, I have to connect with Taurus energy, like, and it's hard for me. It's hard for me to connect with Taurus energy, because I'm like, I'm not, like, I don't know how to enjoy the beautiful things, like, I'm always like, if I see something beautiful, or if I see something pleasant, I'm like, oh, there must be something behind that, behind that beauty there must be something hidden, you know um or there has to be like something deeper in this. And sometimes no, there are no deep things behind things. You just have to enjoy the view, enjoy the moment, like enjoy what you have. Like there's no secret meaning behind this, you know. Rich in money and soul, be rich. Oh. The other day I was watching oh, I'm watching, guys, this, I wouldn't say it's a K-drama, it's not a K-drama, it's a Japanese um series that is called First Love. That it's the one of the main actor, it's the guy from Samurai X, the one that looks like Utah, but actually he's older. Yeah, J-drama. It's called My First Love. It's so cute, guys. You have to watch it. It has, I believe it has like 8 or 9 episodes. It's really good. You should watch it. It's really cute. I cannot help but whenever I watch that man, he does remind me of Utah. I believe that the actor's name is Sato. He's very well known actor. But I love him. He's beautiful. He reminds me of Utah. I swear. He's like very. He resembles a lot to Utah, or Utah resembles a lot to him. Oh, guys, I'm going to. But I love it. It's so cool. It's so cute. It's so cute. The Fabulous? What is The Fabulous? Is this the movie, Hope? Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull a few cards and then I'm going to go. So, who do you want me to pull cards for? Oh, really? I was watching Film Alone Music Awards performance glimpse in Twitter. The Sagittarius season. You want me to pull cards to see how the Sagittarius season is going to do? Oh, I have to do a reading for Sachin. First, let's pull cards to see how the Sag season is going to be for us. Okay, so we got the Page of Cups and the Five of Cups. So I think that it's going to be very emotional, actually. It's going to be very emotional. I think that probably we are still going through a process where we are like, accepting that of everything that has happened during this year. Probably there are a lot of things that we are mourning about, that we are like suffering for in silence, that somehow with this Page of Cups is like, come on, invite them in, invite the sorrow in. Like, the only way to integrate this pain, and the only way to integrate, like, think about all the things that you lost during this year, the things that you gained and the things that you feel like you lost somehow. Feel like, like, give them, like, acknowledge them, like, invite them to your experience. Do not deny them. Like put it into words, like, like, make a list. Okay, I gained this experience, but I also feel like I lost this, or this made me happy. This actually, I was really unhappy with this, like, but, like, invite the feeling, like, don't toss it aside, don't pretend like it didn't happen, like, just acknowledge it. Only when you do that, you are going to be able to see that, that the year is not over, that you have the possibility to connect with joy again, that you have the possibility to be emotionally fulfilled, and that probably you're going to have an invitation to live a very emotional experience, like, you're going to have the invitation to being able to get out of here. But at the same time, it's like, don't try to cover it, like, don't get too overly positive about, like, oh yes, I'm keeping the positive and I'm not seeing the negative side. It's like, um this must be making a New Year's resolution, making it the first day. Yeah, it's like, invite it, invite the emotions, and also acknowledge that probably this year was a bit rough for us, and that maybe it didn't, like, directly, you didn't lose something or someone, but people around you has lost something, or the humanity, the world, the society. Like, we had gone through a lot of losses this year. So I think that even though we may think like, oh, this doesn't affect me because it has nothing to do with me, but we had been in a mourning process for a lot of times. We actually had been like, wait guys, I'm going to, um so I think that this is, the reality, that we had been in a mourning process, and we probably don't know You know, we probably are like, oh no, this didn't I don't feel like that happened to me, you know, but actually, yes, we had been like this for a while, you know, but we still have the opportunity to make it right. We still have, like, you know, there's an invitation coming. There's an invitation, and this invitation to open our hearts to what's going on, to open our hearts to our circumstances, you know, and be like, okay, yeah, yeah, that is part of our experience, and it that we weren't, even though we are in a better place, we aren't great yet. You know, that we are still not great, that we are okay. It's not like we are like, oh, but we, you know, we, like, let's acknowledge this. Let's acknowledge the sadness. You know, that sometimes we have our highs and lows, but it's not, you know, it's part of our experience. Oh, we recently had a shooting on campus, private robbery, so not a witch shooter, but it's still awful. Yes, and it's still traumatic. I feel like that's what is you know, that we have the invitation of the Page of Cups to actually, like, reconcile, to celebrate, you know, but also let's acknowledge the pain, you know, that we are not healed yet. We are in the process of healing. We are doing our best. We are doing our best. Every day we do our best. Every day every time we choose to, okay, I'm going to consume this, not that. I'm going to do this, not that. I'm going to stay in my house because I don't feel like, you know, meeting random people. You are choosing all the time. We don't have figured out what is the best for us, but, you know, we are going there. It wasn't a great year, but it was an experience. You know, we had to go through it. Yeah. Yeah, probably what is good for you, spirit, it's even to write it, you know, probably to make a resolution, like uh to write your resolution, to do it like a letter for yourself, do it, and then burn it. I think that it would be like a bit liberating, you know, for you to put into words uh what, or I don't know, like record a voice message, you know, record it, talk about it, express it, and then erase it. Listen to it, listen to yourself. You have to listen to it, and then you can erase it. But maybe you need that. You need to put it into words. You need to put it somewhere, you know, and then you can release it. Because yeah, death, it's a very complex experience. Sometimes death is not literally like experiencing someone dying. I think that sometimes we die a little bit. A part of us dies a bit. And we are saying all the time goodbye to things that we are like, okay, yeah, this is life. You know, this is a new period. But maybe it does affect you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we all have fears. We all have fears. And I think that the most scary part is to put those fears into words, because you are afraid that if I put it into words, maybe it will come true, or if, you know, and no, sometimes it's like, okay, like, let's face it, we live in fear. We live in fear everywhere, in different parts of the world. Like, we live in fear, and this is not over. This is not over. but I think that the Sagittarius season, it's about, yeah, you come from a period of mourning, you come from a period of losses, but don't forget that you still have an invitation. There's an invitation to live. There's an invitation to new experience. There's the new horizons. So, will you go out and experience that, or will you stay to keep mourning? I think that the Sagittarius season is very explicit about that. Like, okay, like I'm offering something to you. Like, I know that you're hurt. I know that you're disappointed. I know that you lost opportunities probably, but I'm inviting you to see new ways. Like, are you going to take them? Or are you going to ignore them and keep mourning? Like, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just that you will have the opportunity to choose something different for yourself, to change your life or your reality. There's an offer coming for you. So will you take it or will you ignore it? Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull a card for Mino. I think that someone mentioned Mino, Chinese Mino. Okay, he got the Sun card. This is very Sagittarius. And then he got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So I think that he's trying to stay positive, to because there's something about what he wants to accomplish that I think that he is feeling very impatient right now. So I don't know if maybe there are some delays, or there's something about him being able to see the fruits of his labor, of his work, and being a bit impatient about it. Like, okay, he's trying to stay positive because he got the Sun card, so this eventually is going to work out. But I think that he's a bit nervous about it. He doesn't like when things postponed or when he gets postponed. I think that life is teaching a very important lesson to him, is that he has to be patient. And I think that for Mino to be patient and to wait for things is not his personal trait. In the sense that probably he doesn't like to wait. Probably. He doesn't like to wait. Um yeah, and this experience is like, come on, you have to wait. You have to wait. But it is going to have a great result at the end. It's just that for him, he hates when he's been told that he has to wait. I think that there's something about his nature that is like, I don't have time to waste. I waited long enough. Like, I don't want to wait. I don't want people to tell me that I have to wait anymore. I have to work. He's very concentrated on work and getting results. And also because in his perception, he believes that he had always put the effort. He had always worked really hard for everything in his life. So he's like, why do I have to be patient now? When I always been very optimistic, when I always been very, very cheerful, when I always been very excited to do whatever you told me to do. So why do I always have to keep like hanging? He doesn't like uncertainty. He doesn't like that. So he would probably have to wait a bit, but the outcome is going to be very beneficial. He will probably get a good news about it. But he's like, why do you put me on hold? Like, why do you put me? I don't like to wait. Why do you keep me waiting? He's like, he doesn't understand. Why? I don't know if it's about money. I don't know if it's about like uh budgets. I don't know, but it's something about like, why do you put me always to wait? Like, Like when I have to show up, I don't put people to wait. Like I go and do it. Why does it take so long when it comes to me? He's very opinionated. I don't think that he's going to have trouble expressing his needs. But he gets a bit impatient. He's like, I don't deserve this. I think someone wanted me to pull a card for Seokjin. BTS Jin. I'm going to do a reading for him during next week because it's going to be his birthday on December. So, and also he has to enlist, I believe. So I'm going to be pulling cards for him very soon before he goes because, then I don't know if I'll be able to read for him while he's in there. Oh. For Jin, he got the Devil, and he got the Six of Cups. So, yeah, definitely there's a lot of like manipulation in the middle because of Jin, because of him being who he is, and of course because he is part of BTS. He just wishes, I think that he got this card a lot of time. I think that he got he got this card a lot, and I don't know why I always get this feeling with Jin that he's always nostalgic. He's always looking. I wouldn't say he regrets some things about his life, but he's always very nostalgic in the sense that he's always thinking, oh, I loved when things were simpler, when things were different, when things were not so complex. And now I cannot undo things. Like this is my reality. And his reality is that there's a lot of power struggles here. And I don't think that it's in the sense of like the members. I think that it's about BTS in general. I think that their influence is so big that of course that the people, the devils of the industry and the ambitious people of the industry that are so thirsty for power and recognition, they want to hold on to them, and they want them to be, they are always trying to get something out of BTS. So I think that Jin had always been someone that he had always tried to keep, this is very Sagittarius. Actually, he had always tried to remain positive and being very optimistic and being very like generous with people, like not matter who they are. He had always tried to keep a very positive mindset, like, oh, okay, I know that these people want to see me, they want to be surrounded by me, they want to greet me, they want to be my friends. I know I'm going to be nice, like I'm going to give them the opportunity. I think that Jin is very generous in the sense that he doesn't forget where he comes from. But here with the devil, I think that definitely he will have to shield himself a little bit better, in the sense that he will have to protect himself a bit because he will be surrounded by people that are very like they want something out of him, and I think that he needs to, like, yes, keep being. I think that the way he copes with fame is to connect with his inner child. He had always been very, very youthful, very funny, very goofy, and I think that this is the way he handles with the pressure of being who he is. But this is like, since we are in Sagittarius season, this is like a sort of reminder for him that watch out for the ambitious people, watch out for these people because they are around you, even though you want to be like, oh, we are all friends, we are all having fun, we're ha ha ha. There are very like powerful, hungry people that they want to take something out of BTS always. Like he will never be able to get away from these people. So yes, the best way is to be double faced. You know, to be like, okay, yeah, to just laugh, you know, like make jokes, you know, don't take it seriously. Like protect your inner world, protect your inner child. Don't let this very, you know, very bad energy like get to you. Like don't let them like get contagious with their hunger for money and opportunities. You know, you are different from them, you are not them. Yeah, I think that sometimes he wants to see, like he tries, this is very Sagittarius. I think that he had always tried to be in sort of denial, you know, like, okay, like, yeah, I know I'm surrounded by these very ambitious people, but I'm going to try to think the best of them anyway. But I think that he needs to he needs to keep in mind that these are not your friends. Like, and I think that this also has to do that um that probably the manipulation and the leaking of his information and stuff actually comes from people that are closer to him, not from the media and strangers. Actually, these are people that work with him. So I think that probably for him to be in the enlistment, probably it will be a good detox way of actually not being like that close to those people. Because, you know, since the devil is there, I feel like the ambitious, the toxic people are very close to him. Like it's not, you know, it's not that they are the I don't know, other people outside, outsiders. These are not outsiders. Mm-hmm. And that must be particularly frustrating for his personality, since now we know how hard he can get due to this administrative streak for himself. He did tell he wanted to enlist earlier, but he had to delay. The enlistment must be a break for idols, at least physically, because they can eat more, rest more, and exercise less. But the emotional, psychological toll for some can be a trip. Yes, not everyone is ready for that, especially the ones that are too overprotected. I did think probably hype stuff tip of the media. It's pretty common. Yeah, yeah. This is what I got. You know, this is why did you see the cards? He's represented by the Seven of Cups. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm remaining my true self. I'm connecting with my inner self, with my inner child. Like I'm the outgoing, spontaneous self that I had always been. But behind him, what is a devil card. So it means that the manipulation is always like around him, even though, you know, he tries to remain generous and optimistic, and he tries to remain like very like true to himself and his nature. He's not going to change. He will always be like this. But the people that are pulling the strings are always watching him. Like, you know, he's a very important asset of theirs. So they're not going to let him go that easily. But I think that definitely he wants to break free. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to go because actually I have to, you know, that today I'm not following the World Cup, but today we Argentina is playing against Mexico, and you know that we lost the other the other day on Monday, so everyone is freaking out here. So I have to get you know, I have to get lunch ready. I was going to say dinner, that's why I stopped. So yeah, so probably I will do this gene reading tonight or tomorrow, because I actually got very like I wanted to see more about that. So yeah, I'm going to do a general reading for him to see if the cards want to say more about himself. So because this was interesting actually. Mm. Yes, yes. All the best for today's match. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you for being here.